What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Game Time Discussions. I'm Emory Cousy. I'm sitting here with Dustin Zimmerman, and we're gonna we're gonna go over the college football recap video for week 7. Jesus.
Recapping week 7, going into and predicting week 8.
Yes, of course. So week 7 was somewhat interesting. There was obviously a lot of games we were excited to watch. But
I've been hearing about it for 2 months that week 7 was going to happen.
Exactly. And I was really hoping that we would actually get more out of it. That didn't exactly happen. There wasn't this explosion of games and teams that just did so well. There was obviously some ranked matchups, and they kind of went as we expected. Yeah. Nothing special or crazy out there, but there were some games that there were some teams that lost. So we'll get into those teams and those upsets and stuff like that. The biggest thing was, and let me share the screen for the last week of games, but this is week 7's top 25. We talked about this going into the week. Last week, we saw Texas do some things and stuff like that, but looking at this, there's some teams that we kind of feel are overranked and underranked a little bit, they kind of showed their hand a little bit as they played this weekend.
Yep.
So games to recap from this week, we got 6 of them, all of them ranked teams. Looking at the first one, it was the big one. That says number 1. That's supposed to be number 2 and number 3. I'm not sure why I put number 1 there, but Oregon versus Ohio State.
Some would argue they want Oregon to be number 1 after
right
win.
Right. With Oregon and Ohio State, it was a game where, and I was wrong on my prediction. I was wrong.
Well, I mean, I backed you. I thought Ohio State would win at least.
Right.
I didn't think by as big of a margin as you had, but
hey, playing in Eugene is hard, apparently.
Yeah, I didn't know it was that hard.
No, exactly.
I mean, kind of hard to win when you slide down on the last play, though.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is I know that I got some backlash on different things, and I was like, well, at the same time, Ohio State was in a position to win the game, and the push-off pass interference, the offensive pass interference, that was 15 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
that was huge because they were already in field goal range.
Yeah, they should have had it. They could have run the last 3 plays, or take a knee, even just center the ball and win.
That's what I would have expected.
I thought they were going to, and then they did that. I was like, oh no!
And it changed everything. It changed the dynamic. And then there was the 12 men on the field, which is a conspiracy theory. If you haven't heard about that,
because it's not a dead ball foul. So I saw a video of like, why doesn't everyone just do this if it's not going to matter? And you can run the last 10 seconds off. Throw 15 out there.
They ran 4 seconds off the play clock.
Mm-hmm.
The play clock does not reset. It went from 10 to 6.
Yep.
Then Will Howard obviously slides down with 0 seconds left on the clock.
If he had 10 seconds,
it would have been fine.
About 2 seconds left.
So timeout. Kick the ball. So it was an interesting game. There was a lot of stuff that was very interesting. There was a muffed kick that got thrown into the end zone, picked off.
A guy got spit on.
Yeah.
So, the line drive kickoff.
Right into, that was crazy.
Fantastic. The old high school freshman kickoff. So
these two teams will see each other again. Yep. That's the main thing about this. And in a neutral site, and me and Cam actually talked about this a little bit, in a neutral site, Ohio State wins this game.
100%.
They looked better. Yes, of course. Oregon has an explosive offense and finally truly showed it because let's be honest, they had not looked good, and we kind of stated that last week. They actually looked good this week, which was good to see. I was high on Oregon coming into the year. I was really hoping they were going to be this explosive offense that I finally saw with 500 yards. You see Jordan James running the ball really well. Evan Stewart having to step up. We just had him on our
7 catches
fallers list.
7 catches, 149 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, we had him on our fallers list last week, but he looked good. So
Trayshawn Holden, 1 catch, 1 loogie. So good game from him.
Yeah. And then some other things to talk about for this week. There were 4 overtime games in the top 25.
Yeah.
That's always fun. Penn State.
A lot of those calls.
Yeah, Penn State beating USC, which is, expected, but not in the way that it happened. As we said last week, Penn State has all the athletes that they could ask for on that offense, and I was expecting them, and on defense, I was expecting them to win by a good margin because of the fact that they have all those players. USC kept it close. Game was good. Drew Aller looks like him. He did throw 3 interceptions, but still like 49 passes or something like that, slinging the ball, which was really good to see for him because most guys want to see that as like the prospect list goes on. Like
right.
he could take the number 1 overall quarterback spot. He's not there yet, but
No, he's
looked good. The other games that went to overtime, we'll skip Alabama. We'll talk about that in a second. That's a whole thing. Tennessee looked awful. They've looked awful for 2 weeks.
Their offense looks horrible.
Yeah, Nico was him.
Somehow gotten worse every week.
Yes,
he looks worse and worse. I think it's mental though. I think
probably.
At this point
he's a freshman.
His confidence.
He's a freshman.
Yeah, he's had one game last year, the bowl game, I think.
Yeah,
that was the only time he really got meaningful action.
So
yeah, I think he's got all the tools. I mean, you look at him, he passes the eye test. 3, 4.
Yeah,
strong, athletic
guy.
He just, I mean, we saw him run out of bounds in the Arkansas game, lose the game for him, and then, I mean, he didn't play well that game. He obviously did not play well this game. They just
found a way to win.
Billy Napier found a way to lose, as we've seen him do all year. So
fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah, their offense concerns me.
Dylan Sampson's good too, and they have really good receivers. Squirrels White,
the ball. That's what they did.
Yeah.
Second half was give Dylan Sampson the ball. And
he was able to piece up some Florida Gators, but yeah, I mean, 23-17 overtime game. Okay,
it was fun to watch.
Yeah, the next game was even more fun to watch. Ole Miss versus LSU. I was watching that game, and that game was on at the same time as the Ohio State-Oregon game. Yeah. Which was not cool. No. I don't know who thought that was a good idea.
I think I gave myself like a tendon strain in my thumb trying to switch the channel so many times.
LSU, I thought, LSU looked really good. I think obviously two awesome football teams, a good defensive line on one side in Ole Miss, a good offensive line in LSU. That was fun to watch.
That was really fun.
And then quarterback play is top notch in this game by far. Great receivers. I love Kyron Lacey. Scores the touchdown at the end. That was cool. And then for Ole Miss, on the other side, I really like Trey Paris, who unfortunately got injured. We'll talk about that at the end. Antoine Wells is another prospect. Parrish, really good football player. Jackson Dart is fun, but LSU finds a way, and they're top 10 now because of it. So it was a fun game to watch.
Yeah. How about Nussmeier? 51 passes.
It's my guy. That's my guy, man.
They somehow threw more than a Jackson Dart, Lane Kiffin offense, which was insane to me.
Hey,
QBR was 72.9 with 2 picks.
He's good.
Throwing under 50% completion percentage.
Yeah. Mason
Jackson
Taylor,
52.4.
Mason Taylor is really good at football. He's the tight end for LSU. I thought he looked really good.
Well, that was similar to Dylan Sampson being fed the ball for Tennessee. Right. That's what
after Trey Harris.
They just said, throw it to Mason Taylor. Wherever he's at, he's going to be open.
If Trey Harris is in this game for the whole game, I think Ole Miss still wins.
Yeah, I mean, he had 7 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown in his limited time.
First half.
Yeah.
It's just...
Trey Harris is insane.
Yeah.
Shout out Caden Lee, though. He stepped up.
For sure.
9 catches, 132 yards out of seemingly nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So
then Illinois playing against the Purdue Boilermakers, 50-49 overtime game, almost hit 100. Oh. That is just ridiculous. I didn't actually get to see this game. I watched the highlights on it. Luke Altmaier is still pretty good at football. Pat Bryant was one of my lock of the weeks for our prize picks. Mm-hmm. His over 54.5 was free. He had 50 points. He obviously was doing better than that. He is the number 1 receiver for them. But yeah, that was a good game also. Let's go back to this Alabama-South Carolina game. Yeah, this game, first off, is just completely insane because I'm another super dog.
Yeah,
I loved it. 21.5 super dog right here.
Shout out Emory. Put the crown on him already.
21.5. And they lose by 2. Sellers is him. And their running back, I can't. Oh my gosh, Raheem. Yeah, exactly.
Rocket
Thank you.
Sanders.
Yes, absolutely. Raheem Sanders, Rocket Sanders. He's a stud. They don't need receivers. Who needs receivers?
No, their leading receiver had 5 catches for 22 yards. Their leading yards wise was 57 yards.
Yeah.
So, and he had 3 catches.
And just remember, last week Jalen Milroe was the top, or 2 weeks ago Jalen Milroe was the Heisman first front runner.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Good job.
Down to 5th, I believe. Yeah, 5th.
Yeah, 5th right now. Plus 1,000. Yeah, that's just that is what it is. But gosh, that 2-point conversion. If he doesn't throw that out of the back of the end zone, we have
a serious wide open.
But they don't throw the ball. Rocket Sanders and Sellers, they run the ball. And there's a reason they run the ball, as you can tell. closing out games there at the end. Unfortunate, because I was hoping that we could get a super dog to win a game, because we've come so close. You were the only one that has done it. Yes,
I was about to say, hold on.
I've had 4 in a row that have hit, and I lost in overtime at San Jose State. I lost 14 points for Illinois against Penn State.
Gosh, that San Jose State.
Washington State close. Game. Yeah. So we're getting there. We're gonna hit one of these, I promise.
You're gonna get it soon. I feel it.
Yeah. Going to the next. So here's week 7, and we'll show you the week 8 changes.
Emory's awesome. Changing AP poll for us.
I'm doing my best. Talking.
It looks good.
Thank you, man. Good. We're gonna do the AP rapid fire. I'm gonna start it off. Texas against Georgia is a game we're gonna have to talk about, but they are coming up. We will talk a lot about Texas on this. Oklahoma losing the rivalry, Red River Rivalry.
Yep.
Big deal here in Texas, and then they're going to Georgia. A lot of emotion coming out of this game.
Yep.
With OU, so we'll talk about that. But go ahead. You got number 2, Oregon.
Yeah, I mean, we already kind of talked about them, but they beat Ohio State. They looked really good. Finally had that offense we've all been waiting for. Held Ohio State somewhat in check. I mean, it's Ohio State. It's
31.
Hard to stop Ohio State from doing that.
Right.
And then Dylan Gabriel jumped to number 2 in the Heisman odds behind Ashton Genty, which is a whole nother conversation for himself.
Yes.
He's at plus 350 now.
So yes.
They impressed me, though.
Consensus, he's at plus 318. And that is just an insane number. We have had so many players inconsistently move up and down the Heisman odds. The only person that is consistent is Ashton Genty, who is just constantly moving up.
But yeah, move up much higher, but
no, he's number 1 now.
He's there.
I wanted to say Penn State is Penn State, Oregon, and Ohio State are all Big Ten teams, so something will break. They had their overtime win. They did not necessarily impress against a team that has lost to, Michigan, and USC is not necessarily a powerhouse by any means this year.
No.
So I thought that was interesting.
I think I saw a thing. They're 5-8 in their last 13 games or something.
USC?
Yeah. Overall.
I did not know that. I think that's let's see.
Yep.
5-8 in their last. Oh, wow. That's crazy. So they lost the last 2 games last year is what you're telling me.
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense. They basically, they lost the bowl game. I remember that last year. So, next up you have Miami, who I think is on upset alert again, because they keep squeaking by. I mean, you got Miami and you got Iowa State, and they're both overranked, and they're both number 1 in their conference.
Ooh, who's more overranked? Quickly.
Miami.
Quick.
Easily Miami. I don't think it's even close. They barely beat Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
They barely beat Cal in a 28-point fourth quarter, basically.
Which should not have happened in the first place.
And now they play Louisville, who is a team that has been a top 15 team this year. Not overranked also, don't get me wrong, but capable. And they have to go to Louisville. Upset alert, here you come.
I completely agree with that. I would not be shocked at all if at Louisville. Louisville only beat Notre Dame by 7 points, and I at least have Notre Dame way above Miami.
Right, for sure.
My rankings.
Alabama.
Yep. Alabama probably should have lost to South Carolina. South Carolina did a really good job having no good play drawn up at the end and just giving the ball back. Also, the QB or the zone read that Sellers fumbled right after a huge momentum swinging pick. Next up's Tennessee.
Well,
this was
sorry. No, I was gonna say, did you see the onside kick? I forgot to talk about this a second ago.
I saw a kicker.
Can you
believe
a
drop
that
onside kick?
Can you believe that?
That pinballs off 4 guys.
It worked perfect.
Somehow the one guy in South Carolina to touch it does hold on.
Yes. No, that was amazing. That was the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
It literally looked like someone trying to do like a trick, like where they spin the ball like around their body on the first guy it hit. I was like, oh my God, how much spin did he put on that?
All of it. He put all of it on it. But go ahead. Sorry, Tennessee.
Well, unfortunately, this was a game people had been talking about similar to last week. Like this week's supposed to have a ton of games like this, but now with Tennessee's offense, I just don't know that it's going to be anything fun.
No, yeah,
it was supposed to be. I think Tennessee's overranked now because of their offense.
Yeah, you did say earlier that they have the number 1 defensive efficiency rating, which is good to see because Alabama's offense is high-powered, even knowing Jalen Milroe is inconsistent to say the least.
They are number 1 on defense and number 46 on offense now,
okay.
which is they're number 5 overall, but that defense is really pulling that.
Yeah. Next up, LSU defeated number 18 now, Ole Miss in overtime, but they do get to play Arkansas next week, and we have seen Arkansas upset teams in the past. So hey, here it comes, right?
Why not? They were my super dog against Tennessee. That's right, in Tennessee, which was awesome. Yep, I'm all aboard the Arkansas. I think the Louisville Miami one, and then this one, I see 2 upsets happening.
Well, also don't forget they're in Arkansas. It's not in LSU. Like it's not in Death Valley. That was a big reason that LSU wins. That Death Valley was going crazy in Louisiana. Yeah. I mean, they were going I saw so many videos. They had the wristbands on that changed colors. I saw that. I was like, this is so cool.
LSU, Death Valley is a top 3 place to play.
Absolutely.
At night.
Absolutely.
If it's not at night, it's a little different, mainly because the humidity makes everyone exhausted.
Right.
But at night, Death Valley's insane.
I've been there one time when Joe Burrow was the quarterback. When they rewrote his name, it wasn't Burrow.
EAUX.
Yeah. And that was, guess who that was?
Who they were playing? Oh, I don't remember.
Texas A&M.
Was it
and
that
they
game?
beat them by 40.
Oh, well, we knew that was going to happen.
Jamar Chase, Justin it was so much fun. It was
we
best game ever.
Those years.
Yeah, I bet you do.
No one feels bad about losing to the Joe Burrow LSU
Why
team.
would you? Right?
That team was the Avengers.
So we're going to skip through a couple teams because, I mean, okay, I'll add Notre Dame. Notre Dame goes down after winning a game by 40. So that's weird.
Dominated.
BYU, Texas A&M, Boise State, Indiana, all where they should be basically at this point. Kansas State defeats Colorado 31-28. In Colorado.
Off a controversial play, too. A lot of people wanted a pass interference there at the end.
Whatever.
I didn't mind swallowing the whistle there. I thought it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been shocked by the call either way.
Exactly. But that game was good. Late game. Very late game before the Boise State game started at 9:30 and went till 2 in the morning. Trying to watch that was tough. But both these teams looked good. Funny enough, I don't want Shadur, but he has looked good, and I have to pick somebody to be a top quarterback, and I don't want it to be him. But he's truly been the most consistent quarterback at throwing the ball, but he holds the ball for forever.
I've definitely had to admit I was wrong on him because I thought he would really crash out this year. Bust, but I've also, the more I watch, the more I realize they are not joking when they talk about Colorado's lack of an offensive line.
Right.
I was always mad about A&M's offensive line. My goodness. Colorado, they have nothing.
Their defensive line looks good. Shout out to Chidozie Nwankwo. I played with his brother at TOU.
Oh, cool.
He's they're all a great family. So I'm happy that he got to go there, and Warren Sapp coaching him is cool.
Yeah.
So all that stuff. But next thing up, Army and Navy are both ranked for the first time. Army was ranked last in 2022. Navy ranked last in 2019. First time ranked together since 1960. Man, how about that triple option, baby? How about that triple option?
You gotta love the triple option.
Bryson Daly is him. A big time believer in Bryson Daly right now. That stiff arm was amazing on they ran Buck Week, and it was just intense when he slammed that guy and then went and scored. So happy to see them doing well.
And Notre Dame gets to play both of them moving forward.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw on ESPN they have like a 70-something% chance to beat each one. Not combined, but each one.
Gotcha.
So, they're still being vastly predicted to lose.
Well, I think it's something that we'll talk about in a minute, but it's interesting that Notre Dame has to play both of them this year.
What they do, I think it's an independence thing.
Yeah,
they have to play somebody.
Well, I just we were talking, and we'll talk about this at the end, but we have our hot takes and stuff, and now Notre Dame looks less comfortable because they have to play 2 undefeated.
Yeah.
Service
academies.
Yeah, and big time hard teams to prepare for. That's a big thing. So let me jump to the games of the week because we have a few. Actually, let me hold on before I do that. Why don't we talk about our super dogs in our spread picks? Because I know that Destin actually did get his super dog wrong. He's been super good. So Dustin for the year so far on his picks has been for just the shorts have been 7 and 10, 7 out of 10.
I was about to say they are not 7 and 10.
Apologize. Yes, 7 out of 10, which is awesome. But for some reason, super dogs are more difficult for Dustin at this point.
The Oklahoma one, I did say, or we both said, this would be fun. I'm telling everybody, do not bet this game.
Right.
Please save your money.
Absolutely. Well, we said that it was a hard week.
Yeah.
I've actually been 4-0 on my super dogs, which is great because I hope y'all are betting them. This week was South Carolina 21.5 spread to Alabama, and it was a 2-point game. Could have been closer even. So, I've done really well in super dogs. Dustin's done great on his shorts picks where it doesn't have to be more than 10. Yep. So, if you haven't gotten our Discord, please go get in our Discord so you can get these picks. Dustin posts them every Friday night or Saturday morning if he's doing those. And if he has a Thursday, Friday game that he wants to put on there, he'll put it on there.
Yeah. One of them was the Vandy one, which I talked to you about, and you can on the Discord, if you go look, it was sent at like 10:30 or whatever that morning. But Vandy I saw at 12.5 and immediately kicked myself for not seeing it sooner because I would have very much picked that as my super dog.
Right.
Hence why I sent it in the Discord when I saw it. That was the easiest, most confident one I've had in a while.
And they absolutely did the thing. So
well, they won. So
they did that
would have
thing.
been my second straight super dog to win outright.
Yes.
So that's okay.
But yes, now let's talk about these games. First game that we want to talk about for game of the week is LSU versus Arkansas because we said earlier LSU is on upset alert. This game is in Arkansas, -3 to LSU right now. Matchup predictor has it pretty dang close.
Oh yeah,
and Arkansas is pretty good at football, man. They of course beat Tennessee, but Texas A&M 4-point game. Oklahoma State double overtime. Yep. Like they're good, and
they're very good.
You should be on upset alert for sure.
Yeah, like I said, I think Arkansas wins this game.
We'll take.
100%.
Okay.
I truly think they will pull it off again. I mean, again, their losses are double overtime to Oklahoma State, who at the beginning of the year is always better. For whatever reason, Gundy just doesn't adjust. He likes Gundy's style. Everyone loses at first, and then he gets worse.
Right.
And then the one to A&M, which was, again, a rivalry game at a neutral site. So, again, a toss-up. And then beating Tennessee. So, I very much think that they will pull off the upset.
I'm probably still leaning this. I think that this is the perfect line for this game. Like, I just don't think you can bet it, truly.
I would not bet it. But I definitely would not take the money line. I wouldn't take a spread.
Right.
But
because it is close.
I think they win. But
yeah, fair enough. I think that confidence is different than, like, taking the bet on this one because I think -3 is right where I would have LSU.
Yeah.
I think they win by 3. That's being said.
LSU.
You know? Yes, LSU.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, it's a very close game.
Oh,
so in either way. And if you look at it, LSU's only lost one game. They lost to USC earlier in the year. And that's it.
Right.
So,
which was just a weird. Brian Kelly hates opening week. LSU and Brian Kelly do not win week 1. I don't know why, but
it's a tough week to play. You get the biggest difference in the whole year is going from week 1 to week 2. So they got better. They've beaten everybody since then.
Yep.
Beat an Ole Miss team that's pretty good. Now they're top 10, and I think they deserve it. So next up, got a ranked game between the Michigan Wolverines. We're going to see truly how good Illinois is. It's at home. Illinois currently is +3 at home. I think that's a little intense because I do not think Michigan's that good.
Michigan doesn't throw the ball forward.
Or at all.
Because their leading passer is still Davis Warren, who hasn't touched the field in
3 weeks.
3 weeks?
3 weeks.
So yeah, no.
No, they haven't touched the field in 5 weeks. Dustin, look at this.
Was it that long ago?
They haven't. He didn't play against. Did he play Arkansas State?
I think he got benched against either USC or Minnesota.
Okay, then
was when they made the full
3 games.
Change.
3 games. Okay. So yeah,
with a bye week,
he is
in the middle. So yeah, 4 weeks, almost a month without him. Alex Orji is a fantastic athlete. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah,
but they don't pass.
Nope. Caleb Mullins, the dude's a stud. Right. Him and Donovan Edwards splitting backfield touches. Kalel, is the main running back at this point. Yeah. He's a stud.
And he's earned it. So.
Loveland and Pat Bryant. This game is full of studs, truly underrated studs. Loveland is an absolute beast. If you look at the defense for Michigan, Josiah Stewart, I believe is his name. He's the edge. They have a really good Will Johnson. They have 2 interior guys in both Kenneth Gant. Kenneth Gant and Mason Graham. He is the number 1 projected defensive lineman in the class. Like, they just have studs on both sides of the ball, but I think that they're a little overrated offensively, obviously. And I think that Illinois could pull this game off. And at -3 at home is just, or +3 at home is crazy to me.
For Loveland, 157 of those yards, so well over half, came in the Fresno State and Texas games.
Right.
Since then, he has 104.
And he will be the number 1 tight end out of this class. But it's not
over our boy Fannin Jr.
He is the number 1 tight end in this class. That is what it is.
Fair enough.
This next one we were talking about earlier might not be as interesting as we thought it would be prior. -2.5 to Alabama right now at Tennessee. I think that's a pretty fair line.
I don't hate it. I'm sure Josh Heupel's gonna pull something out of his sleeve. Bless him.
I apologize.
He's still a good coach. He's an offensive coach. They're gonna score points. The total is still set at 55.5, even with Tennessee, as we mentioned, having very poor offensive efficiency.
Right.
If I had to pick a winner, I would take Bama right now. With all the knowledge we have at the moment.
Yeah, I agree.
Just because Nico hasn't inspired me to believe in him.
Fair enough. I mean, when you think about Tennessee, like these first few games, you're like, okay, yeah, Tennessee is going to win the Alabama game at home.
Yeah.
Because it would have been a 7.5 game, I think, at this point.
Mainly after the NC State game. They looked fantastic after that.
Both of these teams have looked bad. And I mean, they lost to Vandy. So, yes, Georgia, they did great. Fine. But then after that high, that emotional high, they had that huge hangover against Vandy.
The hangover always hits.
And it's followed them into this South Carolina game at home. I just think they play worse on the road. And it's really weird that this is how it is. But I do take Alabama in this game because I have to play the trends that Tennessee has been bad. But, hey, I mean, it's closer than I think it should be.
Yeah. I mean, well, and to be fair to Tennessee, the Florida game's also a rivalry game. It's a rivalry. It's not as known about, quote unquote. So, I mean, it's not a surprise Florida came in there and gave them a good fight.
Right.
But I think at the end of the day, Bama wins.
Okay, Dustin, I'm going to let you go first on this game because I know how much you love Texas.
Oh, yeah. Huge fan. First of all, that matchup predictor is insane. There is no possible way.
No, that's ridiculous.
That it's a 76% chance to win based on what we have now. Texas, unfortunately, still has not played anyone.
No.
Because Michigan had their now the backup quarterback starting, Warren at the time, who can throw the ball, but not very well. And that's about all he can do. And then Oklahoma was missing their top 5 wide receivers with a true freshman at quarterback.
And we talked about it. Like, I know you said -14. I'm going to take it because it's a rivalry. But truly, we both said they're 20 points better, better roster-wise.
Yeah.
Okay, so my take on this is I love Texas morally as a football fan. I love that they can run the ball and set up the run. I love their offensive line. They win in the trenches.
Yeah, they do.
Something that, you just have to be able to do, in my personal opinion, to win football games. They have an amazing defensive backfield right now. Number 1 possibly in the nation. They have possibly the number 1 offensive line in the nation. Quinn Ewers didn't look good in his first game back, but he said, I did not look good, and we still won by 31.
Yeah.
Like, they're just better right now.
They are.
And I think they beat Georgia. I think they beat Georgia by, a touchdown. I think that'll make a lot of Texas fans very happy. And I think that they just look better right now at home. We might be going to College Game Day this next weekend. It's going to be awesome. Maybe we'll get a picture of Pat McAfee without our shirts on. It's just going to be great.
That's the goal.
And so I think that this -3.5, it's a little disrespectful, 76.2%. But this is probably accurate otherwise to how this game should go.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would take the Georgia spread. Might be a little biased, not gonna lie.
Fair enough.
There is that.
Mr. A&M over there.
It's not involved in this conversation.
I think you want Texas to win.
Want?
Yes.
I don't care.
No. I think you should want Texas to win because when A&M plays them at the end of the year, you need to win against a good team.
I would prefer Georgia win because that makes one less undefeated conference team.
Fair enough.
And then A&M's down to 2 undefeated conference teams.
Fair enough.
LSU. Because right now it's just Texas, LSU, and A&M. Which just makes us have more leeway as far as getting a loss.
Okay. I think that's fair. I think,
but also, I also don't care what Texas does. I want to win at the end of the year.
Either way,
I could not care less if they win now or later, whatever.
This Georgia team has also looked pretty poor. Mississippi 100%. State 41-31 is kind of bad, 100%. Kind of embarrassing, honestly. Out of every game this year, Texas also played them tight, but that was Arch Manning in his second game. Quinn has been much better. Their defense has been so good. Their defense is awesome. Like I said, they can establish the run. They can throw the ball deep because they have athletes at receiver. And they can play some damn defense, and I love it. And I don't love Texas. I'm not a Texas fan. Never been a Texas fan in my life.
Right.
But I'm a believer in philosophies of football. And this is the philosophy you want to see to win games right here.
One analyst I do follow, he is a data analyst. He does a bunch of sports. He does football, basketball, baseball.
Right.
He right now has Texas winning 27-26 based on his algorithm, whatever magical program he has that runs.
What an intense point.
He's got it. That's what the algorithm spit out. His confidence is low on that game for both teams. So because nobody knows how that one's going to go.
One thing I will say is I hope that I don't jinx this because I have jinxed teams in the past. We talked about Texas State. We talked about Ohio State winning. Those teams have lost.
Keep going, Emory. Who do you think's going to win this game?
I think Texas will win this game. I am on the Texas side here, and I think they win by a touchdown. And I think they're just better.
You heard it, Longhorns. If they lose, don't come at me. It wasn't my fault.
Next up, though, we have Oregon versus Purdue as our first super dog. We were going to do our super dogs, of course, with Dustin going first here.
Yep. So got to bounce back after last weekend, which was quite embarrassing for both Oklahoma and my pick. Purdue, we saw them put up 49. They actually benched Hudson Card, brought in the backup, Mr. Brown, and they put up 49 against a good Illinois team on the road. This one's in Purdue. Purdue over the last several years at one point was 3-2 over AP top 5 teams, garnering the nickname the Spoiler Makers. This one started at 28.5. That's what I wrote down on our sheet, our notes to talk about. It's now at 27.5 because the Spoiler Maker train, no one stops for it. I would have preferred 28.5. Not going to change it now, though. I'm going to go ahead and I'll take him at the 27.5 still.
Well, I also agree with this a little bit because of the fact that there was an emotional high. That's always a thing. We talked about it with Alabama beating Georgia. Alabama comes back the next week, loses to Vandy.
The hangovers happen.
It's thing. Common. That emotional high, like that is, what is it called? Adrenaline drop is really big.
Yeah.
So I completely agree that could happen here. I think that Oregon can put up a lot of points, though. So Purdue will also have to continue they can't continue putting up, 7, 21, 10, 6. Hopefully this backup quarterback
I was about to say
changes that.
Yeah. So I'm thinking it'll be a fun one. I'm not in any way saying Purdue's going to
win. Right.
But we're gonna try to take those 27.5.
Are you all ready for a team that I think could win, though? So my super dog, who has moved from where I also had them, I had them at 11.
Dang.
We
filmed yesterday.
Lose the whole point on that. That's crazy. Shoot. Yeah, but mine's a closer spread.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm going with the North Texas Mean Green. I'm sure Steiger, one of our good friends, will be very happy about this.
They're my master's alma mater too.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. Steiger and Dustin apparently both graduated from there.
Yeah.
Prestigious. But the Mean Green have this year one of the highest offenses in the nation. They're 5th on the total yards, and then they're playing against Memphis, who is 52nd on total yards, and then on defense, they're 115th total yards versus Memphis is 21st.
Sure.
So basically, I'm just choosing the side where offense is going to overpower the defense in this game. Something is going to have to break. And I think that it's the defense that breaks, not the offense that breaks. Chandler Morris has been really good this year. He's top 5 in passing at this point. He has 329.8 yards per game, 20 touchdowns, 7 picks. He's been, chunking the ball deep. They have a slew of receivers that can catch it. And I think they find a way to beat a Memphis team that's looked really good, actually. I mean, only team they've lost to is Navy. If you look at the scores,
undefeated, as we mentioned.
Exactly. If you look at the scores, they gave up 17-12, then 56 to Navy, 7-3. So they've played great defense.
Yeah, one of those was powerhouse DJU FSU.
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. So I think that if the way that they win, obviously, is on defense.
Yep.
But I think it breaks this week. And I think the North Texas Mean Green possibly pull out the win in this game. So I'm really excited to see this game. Obviously, this is a very, very bad predictor for me, but hey, minus 10 or plus 10 here, I'll take it. Whatever. Ain't no thing. I ain't scared.
I mean, that was the predictor for Texas, Georgia, and they have a 3.5 point spread. So per your spread guess, it looks really good with that prediction.
Right. Of course. Next up, we're going to talk some of the biggest winners and losers of the week. This is a new segment that we're doing. The biggest winner on the week is going to be the Texas Longhorns.
Yep.
This is Dustin's biggest winner for sure.
It hurt to type, but it needed to be said. You win a rivalry game by 31. All those people you went to high school with and parted ways, they've probably blocked you on Snapchat for the week or blocked your number, don't want to hear it, but you've got the rights for the year.
Oh, so. Yeah. And don't forget, Texas, Oklahoma recruits Texas so well. Yeah. Like all of, and I want to preface this. Baker Mayfield, he's a Lake Travis guy.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, he of course went to Alabama, but he was also a Houston guy.
Right.
Kyler Murray, Allen.
Well, he went to A&M first.
Yeah,
that one hurt too.
Okay, whatever. But I mean, they a lot of their players that come out of this, that come and play for them. I mean, I can go way back. I mean, I remember when Samaje Perine came out of Pflugerville and went to Oklahoma. PJ Mbanassor also went to Pflugerville, Hendrickson, and went to Oklahoma. There's a lot of guys that I've seen out of this Austin area go to Oklahoma, be successful, be top picks, but it's because they recruit Texas so well because they know where the good players are. Let's be honest. They're here. They're here. They have to come get them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you grow up on farmland in Oklahoma, you only have so many training resources. When you grow up around the rich Dallas area,
DFW,
you've got a lot of their stadium cost $60 million. High school,
and they had to redo it.
And they had to do it twice.
They had to redo it. And
they didn't care.
Houston, Dallas. I'm not even going to put Austin in that because it's really a difference in level.
Well, even at least you can say Westlake and Lake Travis.
There are teams, of course, in this area, but I just mean they come to Texas to get their players.
Yeah, I mean,
and I would too. Shoot,
they have Duncanville's producing
Duncanville, DeSoto
athletes a year now in every sport.
Duncanville and DeSoto are a whole 15 miles from each other.
Wasn't
in the same district, and they both won state Division I, Division II.
Yeah,
so dumb.
Didn't Duncanville? I think they set their track team this year almost broke the world record or something for the 4x4 or 4x1.
Probably
it was some insane stat for a bunch of 16.
You want to know something great about Duncanville? Cameron Williams is from Duncanville. He is the right tackle for Texas, and Texas.
We talked about him recently.
We did. We put him on our Risers video, and he plays great. And Texas wins by 31, and they remind Oklahoma why they're the better team.
Yep.
Next, the biggest losers, and the biggest loser is the Ole Miss Rebels. It's because of the fact that they have a tough schedule. They do. They have a monstrous schedule in front of them. Here, I'll pull it up here. There we go.
The remaining strength of schedule
has to be high, man.
Yeah, it's not ideal for them.
And it was actually, I was going to put this on last week when they've had to play LSU, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Georgia, Florida, Mississippi State. Well, I put it on here this week more so because of the fact that there are multiple injuries across this team, including some of their best players. We talked about Trey Harris. Trey Harris is out.
Yeah.
Well, Trey Harris, absolutely, because Trey Harris is currently almost 1,000 yards receiver, and he is more than double the second best receiver on the team. Then also Princely Umanmielen.
Oh, you went for it. Wow.
Princely Umanmielen is their best pass rusher. Came from Florida last year. He's right here.
Yep.
He has 3.5 sacks on the year. Let me move this. There we go. There we go.
There you go.
He is out with an injury. So he is also one of their best players. It's just they have to get some players healthy, and they're playing good teams. They have to, of course, like I showed you,
foot-related injury.
Yes, I couldn't remember if it was foot or ankle.
Yeah, they didn't give any further details.
They have to play Oklahoma, Arkansas, Georgia, all good teams. I know Oklahoma just got whooped, but that was Texas. We just talked about Texas being amazing philosophy-wise.
Yeah,
one of my favorite teams to watch because of that. Arkansas, Georgia, like those 3 games are going to be tough.
Yeah,
super tough, and I don't know if they win 2 of them, and that's scary because they're a team that at the beginning of the year you could say, hey, this is a team that should make the playoffs.
Right.
And I don't think they can do that right now.
Well, I had talked about them being at the top of the SEC for me coming into the year with all the transfer guys they got.
Oh, their D-line is awesome.
Really underperformed, though. Oh, on offense, namely.
Yeah,
their defense hasn't been bad.
Their defensive line is amazing.
Yeah.
Walter Nolan. Princely. They have Jaden Ivey on the other side. Just tough breaks. Yeah. Losing to LSU by 3. Kentucky, a team that you weren't expecting to lose to. It's a tough break. They're gonna
combine losses by 6 points.
Yeah, they're gonna lose some more. It's gonna be a tough schedule. So hopefully Jackson Dart can pull them through. But Lane Kiffin, he always scares me, as you know.
Guy's insane.
He is awesome.
Yeah,
because he's so crazy.
I have a very love-hate relationship with Lane Kiffin.
Fair enough.
It's so difficult. He makes it hard to like him. But once you look past
I like him.
And you're like, I like him. This guy's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. I agree. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to do a hot take.
Emory's hot take.
I have had one hot take this year, and it did not go well. That was Texas State. We're actually going to recap our other hot takes.
I have 2. They're going okay for now.
They're going okay.
We'll see.
My hot take is that the BYU Cougars are going to make it to the college football playoff and earn a home game, which means that they will win the Big 12 this year. There's just not much going on in the Big 12 other than them. They have one of the easiest remaining schedules on the board. They don't have to play certain teams. They don't have to play Kansas State. Of course, Arizona State is actually 5-1. Utah 4-2, but Cam Rising is now currently out indefinitely. So that's good. Kansas has underperformed. UCF benches KJ Jefferson. RJ Harvey. So was talking about
the other running back.
Yeah, the good one. But Oklahoma State has looked awful defensively. Offensive line
only getting worse.
Yeah, getting worse. And then Houston is one of the worst teams actually in the Big 12, which we expect them to be good.
Off the Houston game,
right? Arizona State's the biggest game, and Arizona State actually is 5-1. So as long as they beat Arizona State, if they lose to Arizona State, they might not make the Big 12 playoff. The Big 12 championship game because of that. So as long as they beat Arizona State and don't lose, if they lose one game, I think they're still making the Big 12 championship game.
Probably, assuming there isn't miracles outside of that. I know Tech and Iowa State are both undefeated in the conference.
Iowa State has to play Tech and Kansas State.
Right. So they should knock it. It should work itself out.
Exactly. Then. So as long as they don't lose to Arizona State, who's 5-1, because Iowa State actually has to play all 3 of these teams, then I think BYU is a shoo-in, and they've been the best team. Like, it's not like they're just, of course, like, it's not just like BYU is just good and they're going to just get in because the Big 12 sucks, because it does.
Well, it does.
But they just beat Arizona 41-19.
Yep.
Baylor is an interesting game, actually. It was at Baylor.
Yep.
They don't play as well away.
It's hard to win on the road, though.
But it's never easy. The breaks off of Kansas State.
Yeah. And at that time, a lot of people were thinking Kansas State was going to run away with the Big 12.
Yeah, so Kansas State cannot get in if BYU is a one-loss team.
Right.
Wyoming at 34-14.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess Kansas State could if they won out. They'd just play each other again.
Again, it would have to work itself out again.
But SMU, that was an awesome game, 18-15.
And SMU surprised people
in the ACC.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, and bold take, BYU will make the college football playoff, earn a home game, because they were going to win they're going to win the Big 12 championship. Notre Dame's chances currently is, and I want to talk about obviously our other whole hot takes, because we have a few other hot takes.
Recapping those ones.
Yeah, let me stop sharing.
Yeah, I think the week after Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois is when I dropped that one. They'll still make the playoff. They have a 56.6% chance according to ESPN's bracket predictor or playoff predictor.
Yeah, they unfortunately though are not in a conference. so they cannot get a bye.
I don't care about that. That wasn't my take.
No. But I would just want to put this out here for everybody.
Oh yeah, we did look into that yesterday. Independents are not allowed to have the bye.
Yes.
So until they join a conference, they will never have.
They need to join the ACC. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, they already played their schedule. That's the whole point. I don't know. Then they won't get to play the entire U.S. military, though. So what's the fun in that?
The other problem with Notre Dame, and I did want to put this out there, is they have to play both Army and Navy, who are both undefeated, as we've talked about. Hard to get ready for. Yeah. So that's going to be an issue. But if they win 2 games, or if they win out, they're in. If they lose a game, they might still get in.
And they'll be in at the last.
They'd be 12. Yeah, they'd be 12.
Because whoever the group of 5 top would probably be ahead of them by that point.
Right.
Assuming it's probably going to be
Boise State. Yeah.
I see them being above them.
The other team that Dustin has said will win conference, the ACC conference. After Clemson lost to Georgia, everybody lost hope, and Dustin was like, well, you shouldn't. It's my hot take that they're still going to win it because the ACC sucks, and we've talked about that. There are a couple dark horse teams, SMU, Pitt, those teams. Yeah. Miami is still undefeated, even knowing we don't like them.
Nope.
But
they won't be undefeated for long.
Exactly. Clemson is 34.4% chance to win the conference championship. That's a fair number.
Yep.
I think it's
again by ESPN's metrics,
right?
Football Power Index. Second place is Miami at 34.3. So, and then SMU at 21.
Beautiful.
Everyone else is below 6%.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's fair. Pitt's under 6%.
Pitt's right now at 2.2.
The undefeated Pitt Panthers.
They're at 2. I'm going to disagree. They have to play. Their remaining schedule is Syracuse, SMU, Virginia, Clemson, Louisville, Boston College. So they play 2 of the top 3, and then Louisville, who we have as on upset alert against Miami, and then Syracuse, who has been kind of up and down. Just a pretty tough as far as the ACC goes.
Syracuse won this week, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you had them as one of your picks also, right?
Yeah, I think so.
In the Discord, I remember you putting it in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are a recap of our hot takes. BYU will make the college football playoffs and earn a home game. That is going to happen.
They're Emory's hot take.
Best team in the Big 12.
I like it. But Emory can take the check on that one when it hits.
Absolutely. But we appreciate y'all hanging out with us. And hopefully if you like our takes and all of our stuff, please give us a follow, or like and subscribe. If you have any comments, if you don't like my BYU take, that's perfectly fine. Please tell me why. Don't just be like, you suck. But yeah, give me a reason. Give me a logical reason. I think it's fair.
Have the discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I'm excited about this week. I'm excited about football. Next week, we're going to do a conference roundup where we tell everybody where all the teams are based on their conferences and stuff, because I think that's important halfway through the season, a little bit more than halfway, I guess.
Well, yeah, we're at the halfway point now. So we'll be over halfway. Most teams either halfway or over halfway through their conference schedule.
Right.
Really have a good idea of how things are shaping up.
Yep, absolutely. And those are going to be Power 5s, Power 4s, and the top non-Power 5 teams. So
don't act like it's not going to be Boise State.
Well, let's just be honest. Army and Navy are not Power 5 teams.
They are.
But they don't. They're independent.
They're independent though, so they can't even beat us.
Could we have 3 independent teams make the playoffs?
Let's see how they do next week, and then we can get into the fun conspiracy of do they play back-to-back games against each other?
Well, yeah,
the new one that people are talking about.
So we really appreciate y'all hanging out with us, and yeah, like, comment, subscribe, get in our Discord, and if you have any questions, we will answer them.
Yep.
But otherwise, y'all have a good one. We'll see y'all next week.
Thank y'all very much for joining us.